Welcome to What is Truth, brought to you by the Southern New Mexico Church of God in Las Cruces, New Mexico. What is Truth is a weekly program which seeks to focus our attention on the truth of God's Word. Now, with this week's lesson, here's Pastor Meyer Stahl.
Welcome to the program. I'm Meyer Stahl, the pastor of the Southern New Mexico Church of God, bringing you the program, What is Truth? Today's topic is part 2 of how safe is the new COVID-19 vaccine. How safe is it? And we have other things that we want to explain, so please hang in there. And before we get started, we have 2 important booklets that we want to share with you today. The first booklet is, Why Were You Born? Now it says at the bottom of the booklet, do you really know why you were born? Do you realize God has a purpose being worked out? And I'll add, for you? Most fail to understand that purpose. Read this booklet, you will be surprised. It's an amazing booklet, and I've read it several times, and it's helped me, and it could help you also. The second booklet is, What Kind of Faith is Required for Salvation? And at the bottom of that booklet, it says, do you know millions who actually believe in Jesus Christ have no salvation at all? That's incredible. How can you believe in Jesus Christ and have no salvation? Well, you got to read the booklet. Because they trust in the wrong kind of faith. Now, the most important thing in your life is your salvation. There could be nothing more important than your salvation. What you will be doing for the rest of eternity. What could be more important than that? So, these are free. We pay the postage. We never ask the public for money. All you need to do is call us at area code 575-650-7359. Get a pen, a paper. We'll advertise it again, and you could send a wait for it, you could call, and we'll send it right out to you. Let's get on with the program. I looked in today's newspaper. Now, this was the 8th. This was January 8th. And right here, it says, U.S. virus deaths hit the highest daily total. I'll read it again. U.S. virus deaths hit the highest daily total. That's terrible. So we're having more problems with this virus, and it already seems like it's changing, like it's taking another form, and it could even be more virulent. And maybe the COVID vaccine that they've been working on won't have the same efficacy as with the strain that we're working with now. Maybe this new strain will need a new vaccine, and that's the way it's been going. Well, every flu season they come out with a new flu vaccine, and the flu vaccine that was last year is not the same as the flu vaccine this year. So let's go on with this and let's come to an understanding. I want to give you a personal story. When I was growing up, I was in school. I had asthma, and I could hardly breathe, and I had a lot of colds, and as a result of it, I was in poor health. And growing up, I had to learn some things about my health, and I had to make some changes in my diet and so forth. Now, I want to tell you this is true. This story is true. I've been studying nutrition for 50 years. And the last 40 years or more, I have not had the flu, neither have I had a flu injection, a flu serum. I haven't had that. The last flu shot I got was when I was in the Army in 1957. And I got my first and my last flu shot then. The sergeant called us out in formation, and he says, well, gentlemen, we're all going to get a flu shot. Now, every year I get a flu shot, and every year I get the flu, but we're all going to get a flu shot. So I stood in line. I had no other choice, and they gave me a flu shot, and within the next day, I was sicker than a sick dog. And I went to the sick hall, and they gave me 2 aspirins and sent me back to the barracks. I remember that. So that was my last flu shot, and I haven't had the flu since. And I have a secret that I want to share with you. Please stop what you're doing, get a pen and paper, and come back to the video. So if you'll do that, I'll share my secret with you. Wait a minute. If I share my secret with you, it won't be a secret anymore, will it? Of course not. Okay. My secret starts out with God. Let's look at the Bible here, and we're looking at Psalms 103, verse 3. Psalms 103, verse 3. It's God who forgives all your iniquities, who heals all your diseases. God is the one that gives you the healing. The doctors can give you all kinds of medicines and all. We'll stop there. The doctors can give you all kinds of medicines and all, but they cannot heal. Okay, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, and we'll look at verse 15. And it says here, and the Lord will take away from you all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which you know, upon you, but will lay them upon all them who hate you. And it says here, verse 16, and you shall consume all the people which the Lord your God shall deliver you. Your eyes shall have no pity upon them, neither shall you serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto you. We're stopping there. Well, you see, Israel did do that. They went after the gods of the people of the land. They got into trouble, and they got taken away as captives and slaves, and they were in slavery for many, many years. And let's go to Exodus chapter 15, and we're looking at verse 26. This is what God wants you to do. And God said, if you will diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord your God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon you, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am the Lord who heals you. We'll stop there. This is fantastic. If you obey God and keep his commandments, his statutes, his judgments, he will heal you. And I've been healed. I've been healed. I've got to tell you that I've been healed many times. Now, in the last 40 years or more, I haven't been sick for one day. I haven't. That's the truth. Telling you the truth, I haven't been sick for one day. I haven't had the flu. I haven't had any flu shots. What is my secret? Okay, the first part of my secret is keeping God's commandments. God is first. You shall have no other gods before me. That's the first commandment, and we need to keep all of God's commandments, all 10, not just 9, but all 10 of God's commandments. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we need to get in shape. We need to really get in shape. Now, in New Mexico, I see so many people who are carrying more weight than they should. They are fat. There are some who are really obese. And they are a target for any disease, any problem that comes down, especially this virus. Now, this virus will attack people who have respiratory problems, have diabetes, are too heavy, who are lacking nutrition, who don't have or aren't doing the right nutrition, and it will. If you have a weak immune system, you will get this virus. Somehow you will get it, and you might just die from it. There's been more deaths now than there has ever been here in the United States. We can stop it. Okay, number one, you may have went on a diet. You may have had several diets, and you lose 2 pounds, and you gain back a pound or 2, and you give up. And that's the story about many people who are overweight. They do a diet for a while, they gain a couple pounds back, and they just quit. They give up. There's a small organ in your neck. It's called a thyroid. And most people have an underactive thyroid. Now, most doctors will give you 1 or 2 tests on your thyroid. And they'll say, well, your thyroid is okay, it's normal. You need 4 tests. 4 tests to check whether your thyroid is normal or not. Now, I went to this doctor, this thyroid doctor. There are doctors who specialize in thyroids. Okay, and he checked me, and I was about 180 pounds. I was running about 180 pounds. And I took the medicine he prescribed, and it brought me down to 155 pounds. And I lost that weight in a short amount of time. It might have taken about a year and a half. I lost that weight, and I told the doctor, I'm not going to lose, I can't afford to lose 1 more pound. I'm off the medicine. He says, well, wait a minute, I'll make it weaker for you. I says, no, I'm off. I'm satisfied. I am now about 150. I'm 150 to 155, somewhere in there. That is probably my normal weight. Now, I've got so much more to share with you. Please don't go away. We're taking a short intermission. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
Call Mark Goldstein, the Safe Money Guy, at 575-556-2472 to learn about innovative strategies now available to help you grow, protect, and preserve your money and financial future, regardless of market conditions.
There you go.
So great, you can do all these different gears like that.
Okay.
Nice.
Guys, not all.
Welcome back to the program. In case you tuned in late, our topic today is how safe is the new COVID-19 vaccine, part 2. Okay, you could check. You could go to cdc.gov on your computer, and you could check and see what the ingredients of the vaccines are. Some of these ingredients I read I did not understand, but I understand one ingredient that which was mercury. There's no way in the world that I'm going to take mercury into my body. No way. Okay? So are all the vaccines safe? I don't know. But why don't you check it for yourself? The Bible says, prove all things. Hold that fast which is good. That's 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. So you're to prove all things. Don't just take anybody's word for it. It might be safe. It might not be safe. You might have some after effects later on. But check into it. Make sure you know what you're doing. Now, going back to my secret. I take a lot of vitamins and minerals. Now, among them is vitamin C. You need a lot of vitamin C in your body to overcome this COVID. And D3, and you must also use vitamin K. Vitamin K helps the D3 go through your body, gives you more immunity. What we're looking for is immunity. We want to build up our immunity. So point number 1 was God has to be first in your life. If God is first into your life, He'll heal your diseases. That's a promise. And point number 2 is you've got to make sure that you're carrying the right amount of weight, that you're not overweight. Being overweight is bad. Having diabetes is bad. Having high blood pressure is bad. Heart disease, any respiratory problems, you're in trouble. Okay? What to do? So, another thing I take is zinc. Zinc is important too. I do this every morning. I juice vegetables. This is vegetable juice. I take all kinds of vegetables and I put them through a juicerator. It's not a blender. It's designed to separate the pulp from the juice. Now I'm going to give you a list of what I use, but you can alter that list. You can change it around any way you want. The first thing I use is carrots. The next thing I use is celery. The next thing I use is beets. The next thing I use is a 1 inch of ginger root. I use a large clove of garlic. And I use some kale. I'll use some dark vegetables. I'll use some cucumber. And I mix it up and I drink it every morning. I'll drink about 12 to 16 ounces of vegetable juice every morning. That builds your immunity up. And I eat a lot of fruit. The dark fruits, the dark vegetables, and the dark fruits are the best. So blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, even some bananas, and any of the dark fruits are good. So I eat a lot of fruit. Now I make my own yogurt. I have a yogurt maker that I make my own yogurt. If you go to the store and buy yogurt, chances are all of the antibiotics, all of the probiotics, and all of that is dead because they have to heat the milk up to almost boiling to pasteurize it. And by doing that, they kill all the bacteria. And if it has sugar in it, you can forget it. It's useless. In fact, it's worse for you if it's better for you not to take it than to take it. So it's very inexpensive to make your own yogurt. A gallon makes 4 quarts of yogurt. So if you buy a gallon and you pay $3 for a gallon, it's 75 cents a quart for yogurt. Where can you get yogurt for 75 cents a quart? Okay, so I use that and I mix whole grain cereal with my yogurt, and I put all of these fruits in, these mixed fruits in, and I eat that for breakfast. Well, I eat other things too, but generally speaking, I eat mostly that for breakfast. Okay, what to do if you already have the virus? Well, you've got to take care. You've got to stay away from people. You've got to cover up. You've got to go get a lot of rest. Now, I have here an article by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. I'll turn it this way so the camera could go on it. It says, How to Build a Resilient Brain by Dr. Sanjay Gupta, MD. I don't want to go into how famous this man is. He really is. And he has 5 simple and positive steps toward growing a healthier, happier brain now and in the future. And I might add to his article, your body too. Okay, point number 1. Maintain social connection in a physical distance world. So my motto, connection for protection, has taken on a whole new meaning. We may not be able to kiss and hug whomever we want, but we certainly can maintain and even create new, enriching interpersonal relationships. So you could do a lot of phone work, a lot of TV, a lot of work on your computer, and so forth. Step number 2 is an important step. Eat for resiliency. There are no such things as immune boosters or superfoods, but there's a lot of data behind the advantages of a Mediterranean-style diet. I think that's very important. Rooted in fresh fruits and vegetables. Whole grains, I agree. Lean proteins, including seafood, healthy fats, nuts, and seeds. People who follow anti-inflammatory diets, such as the Mediterranean regimen, may additionally gain beneficial effects against infection itself. Here's a tip. Processed and sugary foods tend to raise inflammation. Did you hear that? Processed and sugary foods tend to raise inflammation levels. Try swapping out one processed pro-inflammatory meal a day for minimally processed fare grounded in whole, fresh foods. You are what you eat. Your stomach, your gut, is the center of your health. It depends on what shape your gut is in, whether you have good health or not. Now let's go to Jesus Christ in Matthew chapter 24. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of your coming and the end of the world? We're going to drop down here to verse 7. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation. So this is fighting that's going on, and kingdom against kingdom. The difference between a nation and a kingdom is there's more than one nation in a kingdom. It's a group of nations. And there shall be famines and pestilences. Now, Jesus predicted it, and we have that right now happening right this moment, and earthquakes in diverse places. Now, I tried giving you some tips on how to stay healthy. Why don't you play the DVD again or watch it again and take these tips down. You're welcome to call me. I'll be happy to share with you what I do know. Okay, in the meantime, why don't you order these two booklets, Why Were You Born? What Kind of Faith is Required for Salvation? Phone numbers on the screen. And until next time, this is Meyer Stahl of the Southern New Mexico Church of God saying goodbye, my friends, and good health to you.
You have been listening to What is Truth with Pastor Meyer Stahl of the Southern New Mexico Church of God, located in Las Cruces, New Mexico. For copies of today's lesson or for more information, call area code 575-650-7359. That's 575-650-7359. Join us next week at this same time for another edition of What is Truth? Until next week, we wish you God's richest blessings.